People are strange. Something strange.
Is that strange?
That is strange.
That is strange.
Wow, that is strange. This is strange.
And here we are, psyop on psyop on psyop. And Greenland's coming our way, baby. America's gonna take it over one way or another. We are porn names fully activated, everybody. We're sticking with our porn names. Okay, Lucky Lizgard, Sphinx Albion. We're here to pleasure you all for this evening. What's going on, Flex?
So if you'd like to know what your porn name is, it's your first pet you ever had and the first street you lived on. So mine was Lucky Lizgard, and Gregory was Sphinx Albion.
Yes.
Which is quite the porn name. So
Woo!
write your porn name in the chat. First pet you ever had, and the first street you remember living on, or your first street you lived on.
Yeah.
That's your porn name, folks.
I will say Lucky Lizgard sounds like a woman. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, Flex, you might be a woman in the porn.
I'm telling you guys, all of Hollywood's, transgendered. So why not me?
Yeah. Join the fun, man. Yeah, speaking of Hollywood, they just had the Golden Globes, right?
Dexter's laughing right now. Not Lucky Lizgard, because that's also my call name on Call of Duty. So I've just been playing Call of Duty on my PS5. So, and if you folks want to get on there and shoot the shit, shoot me or shoot other people,
there you go.
Lucky Lizgard.
Well, then everybody, everybody put your porn name in the chat. We got a bunch of people already putting theirs. Chester Hunter, wow. Nikki Beach, that's a good one. Trixie Ponderosa, okay. Let's go, Richard.
Yeah.
Precious 62nd Avenue.
Woo!
I would just go 60 seconds. So Precious 60
I would say yes. Tina, you're Precious 62nd. Maybe 69, and you're doing fine. 69, dinner for two. Don't forget. That's what I was saying.
Molly 49. Ugh. Yeah, if you lived on like a numbered street, it kind of ruins it. But
yeah,
you get it, whatever.
You get whatever.
Anyway, so we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. There's a bunch of crazy shit happening. The whole ice shooting.
No way.
Yes. So like this ice shooting happened, and immediately I think you and I were both just like, okay, psyop. Everybody's distracted by it. It's getting everybody tugging at each other like, he was in the right. No, she was in the right. Like, he shouldn't have shot her and all, fisticuffs.
Just got everyone distracted, divided, and just whatever. Deplorable.
Yeah.
That's such a word. That's what it is.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've all seen the video. I'm not going to play it again, but the ICE officer is standing in the way of the vehicle. This is in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The woman is stopped in the middle of the road, kind of blocking the ICE people from moving forward. And then they're like, okay, get out of the car now. They get all aggressive, you know what I mean? And so she's like, no. And then she starts speeding off, kind of steers towards the ICE officer. However you want to see it, she's driving towards an officer. He pulls his gun and blap, blap, blap. 3 shots right to her freaking front of the windshield, right? Or through her driver's window, I should say. And so then later there was some other footage that came out of the officer's camera, his whatever chest cam, right? Uniform cam. And it does seem that he got hit you can't really see it because the video is up. You can't see her car hit him, but you can hear something that might sound like a scuffle.
Yeah.
But to me, it just sounds like 3 gunshots going off. So I don't know.
Pop, pop, pop.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the video just kind of trails with, the car crashing into another car, and there's a woman has the door open, right? Supposedly she's dead.
And as time went on, we found out more about this this lady. One being that her and her wife basically go around and disrupt ICE agents, from Colorado, and they've been to they go to different states doing this. So again, fucking find out kind of situation.
Yeah.
She's married with 3 kids. Or 2 kids, or was married. and basically the judge took the kids away because her wife, the one that is filming from the outside, apparently abuses the kids and puts out her cigarettes on
Wait.
the kids.
So the one
Stuff like
filming
that.
and like in saying like, "Hey, you motherfucker!
Yes.
Hey, cop!"
Yeah.
That was her wife.
Yes. So
Oh.
if you see, I was trying to find it, and I didn't save it, but if you see photos of her a few years ago, she looked very healthy, pretty, blonde, with her husband. There was photos of her on the beach, looked extremely happy, and then all of a sudden now she's this Karen-looking liberal. I'm sorry, I mean there's no other way to describe it, and married to this woman, and basically she got the kids taken away from her because they're like, either you get your kids back or you stay with this woman who's abusing your kids and putting, there you go, and putting the cigarette out on the children and stuff. So she decided to go with this other person. I personally don't think she was killed. I think some of these psyops are just psyops. I think Charlie Kirk is still alive. I think Michael Jackson's still alive.
Actors.
And all of Hollywood is transgendered, as you know. But on a serious note, and the video that I sent you, there's a lot of 33s.
Dude, yes.
There's some AI shit happening with her fingers.
Oh.
When she's hanging her out the door, it kind of blends in.
Okay.
Is it a distraction from Venezuela, which we'll talk about in the second half of the show, because I've been doing a bit of a dive on.
Not just Venezuela, Tex. I mean, or Flex. Sorry. We have.
Lucky.
Yeah, I know. I'm like going all over the place. I'm like, should I call you Flex or Tex or Lucky Lizard or Lucky Lizgard?
Today's Lucky Spinks.
Well, Lucky, we got stuff going on all over here because the Technate of America, and if you look back to like the Rome Society of Rome and all this stuff, and just like the actual conditions that it takes to form such a large landmass, you need Greenland, you need kind of that Venezuela area,
And
you need South America.
They talked about this 100 years ago, and it's basically what empires do. And we're going to talk about it now or afterwards. We're going to talk about. Okay, so we'll talk about this right now, and then we'll get to the lady afterwards. The whole thing that I'm starting to see with the Greenland, Canada, it's twofold. A, you go off to Venezuela, you cut off the oil to China. You cut off the oil to China, and then Greenland, same thing as well. They can't have the passage through. It looks like there's trying to be three superpowers. It's trying to be the Americana, which is what Greg was just talking about, which is Greenland, Canada, Mexico, Cuba, and Venezuela. And then you have China, and then you have Russia. And I have a video on that as well, showing how you've got these three empires that will be governed by one empire. So I don't think the one world government will exist as one. I think it's going to be separated into three.
Okay.
Part of it as well with all this, security reasons. If we still believe that this needs to be done for certain reasons, the plan, or why this push on Greenland and Canada. And I was just talking to my friend today as we were driving in the car, because I saw a few videos on how Canada is compromised by China. We've had our elections compromised by China. They've come to Canada to do their military training.
Right. Yeah, I've seen that.
There's a lot of infiltration with China, with our government consistently. So as an American, as the American government and superpower, would you want your neighbors above to be connected with that? So I feel it's a little bit of everything. You know, take the minerals, because they do need the minerals. They do need the gold, the silver. They do need the stuff for the AI. So I think it's an AI war. It's to. Man, there's so much. We have to watch the videos. There's just so much.
Let's just tease that, like the Greenland stuff. I didn't really want to dive right into that yet because we got to focus on this woman and like the number 33, because like the ICE, this murder of this woman and the 33s surrounding her is just off the charts, man. You mentioned that she's a mother of 3.
Yep.
And all of the ages of her children add up to 33. So you have a 15-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 6-year-old. It's like, oh, okay. So what are the odds of that? 3, and then you have 33. Okay, is the sum. You have her name. Well, hold on a second. We have her name upside down. You have the EE.
There it is.
Right. So in the poster that they posted, right? Like, so justice for Renee or whatever the hell, right? It's just everywhere. The cop, and I posted this in the Telegram too. And then I think it was Tina or someone posted a video of another channel who just went through all the 33s, but like the cop, the ICE agent, I should say, who shot the woman, who shot Renee, he had a previous incident where he was dragged 300 feet and it required 33 stitches.
33 stitches, yeah.
It's like,
which JD Vance talked about at a press conference. So it came out of his mouth. This wasn't just made up.
Yeah.
And and then there's like this dinosaur on the front lawn, which they've talked about. They talk about the black dog that's next to this person on the sidewalk. Looks like it's AI. They talk about her fingers morphing when she's got her hand out the door there.
Okay, well, let's check it out because I have another video too, just in case. And it talks about a lot of stuff. So I want to see what your video talks about first. Is this which one are we talking? The Tim Pool one? I think
the first one's Tim Pool one. And Tim Pool's kind of breaks it down with how the wheel is positioned, how the wheel starts to spin. So she was actually revving the car, wheel was spinning on the ice.
Right.
And of course, anybody in front of a car, you hear it spinning, you're going to think this person's coming towards them.
Let's check this out. Ooh, hold on.
Said that I believed she wasn't intending to hit the officer and was trying to flee, but still put the officer in fear of harm. No, I've changed my mind. I'm going to show you the slowed down footage that I believe proves this woman was intending to kill them.
So is this the 33 video or is this just a summing up the whole scenario video?
Summing up the whole scenario.
Okay.
That ICE agent. Watch the officer who has his gun drawn. Look at his feet right here in the back left. Let me make it a little bit easier for you guys to see. As I pull this forward, notice his feet both slide backwards. You see his foot sliding? Yeah, he's not taking a step. He's being hit by the vehicle. Now I can already hear you saying, hold on, Tim. If you're up against a vehicle and accelerates and pushes you out of the way, that doesn't warrant shooting somebody. Agreed. Let's go back to the lie. Here's the officer.
This all happened.
Here's the vehicle reversing.
In seconds.
The officer is not in front of the vehicle. She reverses, and now he is in front of the vehicle. Mm-hmm. He initially is to the right of the vehicle. By all means, argue he should not have placed himself in this position. We're talking about seconds. Now watch this.
True.
The vehicle stops here. The wheels are pointed left. As you can see, the officer is standing right in front of the vehicle. Now watch this.
Watch
right
it.
there. You see the front tire?
Did we get it?
Watch the front tire right here.
I'm going to pause it because I can't stand Tim Pool. He is very, this is how it's going to be. And that's absolutely correct because I know it. I do it. Blah, 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 blah. But yeah, so I get where he's going with it. Like she turns and then puts the officer in front of the car and whatever. Yeah. Like we can sit here and argue about it whatever way.
She hits the gas pedal and right there you can see the wheel starts to spin.
Right.
And that's why the officer realizes this person is hitting the gas. And if it catches the pavement, it's going to hit him, which it does. You know, that's what he basically says. It's catching the pavement there.
Right. You know? But what do you think about, do you think that she's actually dead?
No.
Do you think this was like a fake kind of...
Yeah.
Do you think George Floyd is actually dead?
No.
He's off on an island somewhere?
Apparently he was at his own funeral. There were so many videos and photos of, you know... I don't think when they use their own actors, they don't kill them. If they go to kill somebody, like obviously 9/11 was real, like they killed people. Mm-hmm. The spaceship shuttle Challenger, they're all alive because you've seen photos of them afterwards, all same name, same everything. So that's why I kind of look at it being like, I want to know how many times they actually really kill people. When it comes to a false flag, like a bombing, mm-hmm. like Oklahoma bombing and stuff, but like Sandy Hook, you know,
Yeah.
you see,
Dude,
you know what I mean? So it's always weird. It's very weird.
think,
I think.
Yeah, I think I'm the opposite. I think that they actually do die. I think the death is required as like an energy transfer. You know what I mean? It's like you got to sacrifice something in order to get what you want.
See,
And
I would think
that that's
it's
what it is.
the harvesting of the energy. So this person doesn't have to die for them to harvest the energy. I think where they get the deaths really come from is a real, like a false flag, like a bombing, or when a star passes away, you know, or there's like a suicide or something like that. But I think this is just all energy harvesting, you know. And my thing is like the wife, you know, who's outside of the vehicle. Where's her footage? She was filming the whole thing, right? She's disappeared. We don't see her footage from her phone. So
I
it's
thought
very
that you were
selective.
saying like the woman, the footage that we've seen was from the wife. Is that not who you're talking about? Or there's a different woman? Like the wife was in the car or something?
There's the footage. Her wife is on the outside chirping the agent,
Yeah.
and the agent's filming with his phone. We haven't seen her footage, you know, and she tries to get into the car. She actually grabs the handle and she tries to get in, and then the lady Renee in the car decides to take off. So I'm talking about the lady who's chirping the ICE agent outside the car. We've never seen her footage. She's filming everything. She's got great angles. Nothing. You know, and people have been asking, being like, you know, maybe because in that footage it would show she was actually hitting the officer. Did it warrant 3 shots to the head? Listen, I was more upset about the dog in the back seat, and so were most people.
Dude, yeah, I know. That poor dog was just chilling back there. Like,
Everybody was like, I hope the animal is okay, and I hope the dog's okay. So the animal they're calling the wife, the ex-wife.
do you think it was a female dog too, a bitch?
Probably. Fucking bitch, eh?
Dang. You know, what are you gonna do?
I don't feel in this situation they really kill people. I do agree they do it at some point. They do, but I feel, you know,
apparently,
Danielson's
saying the wife said, "Drive, baby, drive."
Yeah.
Weird, dude. So I don't know. Also,
there's no footage from her. She's got the camera and she's talking about we're not switching our plates, which is strange because they go to different states, and their job is to agitate the ICE agents. So you fuck around and found out kind of thing. Like, where are you? Why are you not at home with your kids? Why are you not at work? Why are you doing this? So they're paid agitators, who hopefully she didn't get killed. You know, I'd rather them not be killed. But again, it's energy harvesting. Everybody was fighting on this, and they forgot about Venezuela, and we forgot about Epstein.
Yeah.
Again.
Yep. Yeah. It gives everybody something to talk about besides the important shit. Not to say that her life wasn't important.
All the Minnesota stuff with Tim Waltz. Yeah. You know, like all that. And it's just kind of like, fuck, like again.
Well, let's get back to the numbers here, because RLN69 in the chat says her name equals 33 and 223 in gematria, 223 reverse of skull and bones, like 322, right? Mm-hmm. I wanted to play this video because I don't know. He's speaking in French, so I'm just going to read it. I'm going to mute his video, but the stuff that he goes through is freaking nuts, man. I mean, let me play this.
Oh, I saw this guy as well.
Yeah, so he goes on to say,
Encore une mise.
Ooh, I'm gonna mute it. I hate how it's like muted, and then when I hit play, it unmutes. So he's saying that ICE officer fired 3 shots at 3333 Portland Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the level of 33rd Street.
Yep.
And as
I sent you a video. Yeah, I sent you a video on this.
Okay.
Exact same thing. Yeah.
Is it not in French?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Good. Because like this whole thing is, I like the information. I just don't want to listen to French and then having the French over the audio. Is just...
I'm pretty sure I sent you a video on that.
Is it this
play
one?
that one there. Yeah.
Okay. Let's check this out here. That way we can play some audio.
This is the real story and
Here, I'll go like
breakdown of the most recent ice shooting. 3 shots are fired at 3333 Portland Avenue. This happened on 33rd Street. In one of the most viral videos of the ICE agent, you see him passing a Tyrannosaurus Rex. This is the symbol for a tyrant. He then crosses a house 3332, and then the next day, 2 people are shot during an ICE protest. This happened in Portland, Oregon, the 33rd state. Another agent shoots a 33-year-old man and a 32-year-old woman. Renee has 3 children.
So I just want to stop real quick. So that 33 and 32, like that was the house that he walked in front of.
Yes.
That's where the shooting happened, right? And so like
Yeah.
then all of a sudden in Portland, you have a 33-year-old and a 32-year-old shot. And like the Minnesota stuff happened on Portland Avenue. Like, what are the odds that all these things are just connected, you know?
I mean, I think that's what we need to call our show now is what are the odds?
Yeah.
You know?
What are the odds, dude? Okay, hold on. Sorry to interrupt here. I'm just going to play this.
Well, that's all right.
One
That's all right.
15-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 6-year-old, all adding to 33. The agent had already received 33 stitches, as said by J.D. Vance, in a previous incident.
33 stitches in his leg, so you think maybe he's a little bit sensitive?
In Masonic rituals, 33 represents rebirth. This incident happened 17 minutes walking from the George Floyd incident a couple years ago.
17, heavily tied to the Q movement, heavily tied to the raising of Osiris. 17 is the number of Osiris. He died on the 17th day of whatever month. So Q, everybody.
This happened on 1/7. The numerical value of ice is 17. This
Look
is
at that.
another example of ritualistic occult symbolism and not only massive energy harvesting, but deliberately made to cause division, opposite opinions, and hate towards one another. It then causes the populace to revolt against the police state, just like the Hunger Games. Because without chaos, there is no new order. Just like the famous Freemasonic saying, order ab chaos. Order out of chaos. Ice is cold. This is the machine without empathy. Just like the saga of the Hunger Games. Trump is like snow, a man who could turn violence into a spectacle. And ironically enough, Trump announces the Patriot Games, where one young man and one young woman will partake and represent the country in a world spectacle. Even in the Hunger Games movie, you could see Masonic symbolism everywhere. Not only is this causing division, but on one side, people are drawing all of their emotions into reading these headlines and getting tricked by the media and can't even think logically about a situation in real time. This woman, even though this is all staged, she did lose her life, but was acting in an erratic behavior, which I explained in my last video. But since people are so caught up in their emotions and traumas from the world that they experience, they can't look at this situation and see that she was in the wrong. But on the other side, you have people that are very happy about the outcome of her demise, when in reality, we shouldn't be focused too much on the fact that she lost her life, rather that we could learn from this experience and grow as people. Riots are happening all over the place. It isn't a coincidence that this happened in Minnesota. This was scripted, this was intentional, and exactly what it was intended to do is happening all over the country. This might sound surprising and might sound a little aggravating to a lot of people, but this world is not what it seems. And do you think these things truly go viral or happen just by coincidence? The numbers don't lie. The script doesn't lie. And this isn't the only incident where something like this happens. Spirituality plays a big part in this as well, and energy harvesting is very spiritual. See you.
Peace. Yeah.
And that's why it's interesting because he says it was scripted, but she still died. Don't know. Maybe she did or didn't.
Yeah, maybe.
But it is
Who
all
knows?
it is all scripted, and it's just so much of it. Like back in the day, you would catch it once. Like when I watch a movie now, I'll catch a movie from the 90s and kind of see stuff. We just watched the movie the other day called called Skulls.
You know what it is?
You know,
it's when it's like those action movies where it's a big, heavy action part, and then you see a glimpse of the body double that comes in for the action role, and you're like, "Ha ha! I see it. This whole thing's fake."
Yeah, Arnold's stunt double's Asian. When you pause it,
yeah,
you know, you're like it's just a big Asian guy,
dude. Because I remember watching Tomb Raider with Angelina Jolie, and she was up on top of like this high rise type of like stone structure, and she did like a cartwheel, and it was an Asian woman, and I'm like, you saw a close up of her face. I'm like, why are they? This is not Angelina Jolie at all.
Yeah. So I hope in this sense they don't get killed. I just feel they do for certain things. but I don't think she did in this. I think it was all to, I really don't know what it was for. I don't know who this benefits. Is this trying to wake up?
No.
It's not waking up any liberals. It's I hate saying liberals. It's not waking up the other side or
You know
a
what?
side.
So,
it's
like-
anger. It's making everybody angry.
Yeah, so Richard brings up a good point. So like Jesus was crucified at 33. So it might be I think it's a ritual to kind of, you know, people say it's like a rebirth because after Jesus died, he was reborn again. And, you know, it's like, it's maybe a cleansing ritual. I think it's like a cleansing cycle of the news cycle that they use. And it's just like, honestly, there was probably 12 stories just like this all throughout the United States. And we only saw this one because it involved an ICE officer, blah, blah, blah.
And they
She's a
always
lesbian.
happen to have the cameras rolling.
Exactly.
They always have to have a phone camera rolling.
Well, not only
I
that,
think
Flex, this is the perfect situation where somebody can go, I could see it both ways. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
they're so
Yep.
good at finding those where you're like, which way does it go? Was he justified at shooting? Was he not?
Which is what's happened in this video. You're having people on both sides saying these women went around as paid agitators to do all this. And, you know, they're just shooting. And, you know, like I said, an ICE agent has a gun in his holster. I don't know if they're part of the law enforcement, but get out of the car. Like, why she's like, I'm not upset with you, she says to the guy. Then get out of the car.
Right.
You didn't.
Yeah.
You know, and if you
And
try to hit him,
who was it?
I don't know. If someone's trying to hit me with a car and it's from a distance, maybe I might shoot at the car or shoot at the tire, like in the movies. Did he need to shoot her in the head? I don't know. But
Well, yeah, you know, it's like it's going to happen. I mean, if you're going towards a guy with a gun with your car, a car is a weapon. He has the right to do what he's going to do, right?
yeah.
But so Danielson in the chat was saying Tim Walz, so governor, or is he mayor of Minnesota? I don't know. He signed a bill a few years ago saying that if a car is coming at an officer, lethal force is allowed even if the car didn't hit the officer yet.
Interesting.
So if it's on its way, lethal force can be used.
Yeah.
So
And like I said, this is divided because you have people can see both sides of it. That's, I think, what the battle is with this. You can look at the video as much as you want, but you know, if you find out more about her and her past, you know, as an agitator, as somebody who, you know, had her kid taken away from her because she decided to stay with this woman, who is not a very nice to the kids and stuff like that. It's just adding fuel to the fire. It's adding
Right.
more confusion.
yeah, they're trying to
But-
paint her as like this ugly person, you know, like really bad with her kids. She was killed with a
and this
dog
is
in the
their
car.
job, is they were going from state to state doing all this,
Right.
right? So it's kind of like you are fucking around with shit. Like, what do you? What
But
do you
how do we
expect?
know? How do we know any of this is true? Like you're saying, and these aren't just actors. And
Yeah.
that whole life was created
Well-
for the script. You know,
Yeah, it's for the script. Energy harvesting, it distracts people, divides people. She's raised over $1 million on GoFundMe. He's raised over $500,000 for his legal fees. You know, so you can see, like, you've got one side that's raised over $1 million for her and her family. She wasn't a very good person, unfortunately. You know, I don't know what happened with that, but again, these could be CIA agents, federal agents playing a role who don't get killed, and then down the road, I guarantee you, folks, down the road, we're going to see a Krysic actor years from now, and it will be her because they reuse the same people over and over again.
this was the
You know?
strangest part to me. The Tyrannosaurus Rex on top of the
like-
car.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
and the car is crushed,
well, yeah, it's
that
obviously
looks-
like a stunt or whatever, right?
and that looks AI to me. That looks like it's just been.
Like this face is completely warped, right?
Yeah, and even the Tyrannosaurus Rex looks kind of weird. There is a person standing there with a dog, and the dog looks like a cardboard cutout.
Oh,
Her fingers look like they kind of disappear. You know, when Trump was sitting at his desk and his pinky kind of
yes.
morphed. You
Yeah.
know, there was stuff like that. So, And I actually think maybe a lot of this, like, I think they've been using AI for a while.
Sorry.
I think that's all right. I think they've been using AI for a while.
Dude, I do
and
too.
I think a lot of this is to test and see, like, even holograms. Like, there's the rumor, the conspiracy that Charlie Kirk was a hologram. Like, if it was, fuck me. And if only the first 2 rows were actors and they CG'd or AI'd the crowd in, like, man, it's crazy what they can do.
Dude, this is a good point right here. Her last name was Good, so Renee Good. So her last name, Good, is a psychological hook, casting her as an innocent victim for maximum inflammatory effect. Fucking agree, dude.
And I guarantee that's not her name. Like, they just...
Dude, look at this. Her first name is Renee, which means reborn. What? Yeah, Renee means reborn?
There's too much going on here for them to sacrifice her. It's just like...
Here's the letters and the numbers of the license plate that adds up to 33. Show me some blood. Show me some blood. Show me some shit. You know what I mean? Like, show me the inside of the vehicle. Show me that the dog was okay. That's all I care about. Honest to God. What do you think the dog's name was?
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus, probably.
It probably was.
I don't know.
Yeah. I bet you it was like Sirius or something related to 9/11.
Yeah. We'll find out.
Yeah, I think the whole the chat is kind of on board with this whole thing kind of being fucking weird, dude. Tina's saying that if they are paid, I don't think that they really died. There are true sacrifices, but it seems that they're part of the show. And then RLN 69 down here, #1 commenter tonight. Okay, way to go, RLN. It's definitely a crisis actor. Anyone who knows anything about gematria, the second you take a look at the chosen name, it's all done around the 322 code and obviously 33. Yeah, I want to know why. Like, what powers do these numbers provide to them? Does it do anything to them, or is it just all like they're communicating with each other and they're like, hey, I see what you're doing there, bro?
They communicate with each other. They harvest energy and they believe in it. Look, people believe in astrology, reading your horoscope. My mom used to have a horoscope book all the time and read to friends, and friends would come over. I think a lot of it's a spiritual thing that we just won't ever understand. And I'm fine with that if you're not fucking around with this shit, dividing people and screwing kids over, like, at the Golden Globes where every pedophile was out there and there were people wearing pins at the Golden Globes. You had Mark Ruffalo for Renee. He comes up to the camera and he goes, "This is for Renee, the innocent." I'm like, shut the fuck up, man.
But dude, I mean, that's proof that this whole thing was a psyop. I mean, they have symbols for her, right? And like the same thing they did.
They had those pins probably done and printed 2 weeks ago, ready to go.
Right. Yeah.
Come on.
You know what I mean? And it looks like the Freemasonic like compass, kind of thing. But yes, so big distraction, and then Greenland happens, and everybody's now talking about the Technate. And so I want to kind of pivot into this Greenland thing again, because as a Canadian, are you worried that we're going to invade? Because like Canada is next, dude. I mean,
come, listen, Trump just put out something saying they're getting rid of the IRS because there's no point for taxes.
Yeah, I heard about
that. We're going to have tariffs. We have Alberta, which is the province next to us that has all the money, all the oil. They want to leave. BC has all the reserves. So if they don't separate, because if they separate, BC will go. The second best thing would be, yes, take us. Now, I don't like your government. I'm scared of your government because your government fucking kills people.
It's a mafia, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't kill people up here. We're a lot different. We'll fuck you sideways with no lube, but it's different.
So Flex, the thing about our government is it doesn't matter where in the world you are, they can still kill you.
Yes, that's true.
So it's
but it's twofold. There's a lot going on. If they want to not have China as a neighbor, and basically they are a neighbor, if Canada and China technically are doing business together and they've interfered with our last 2 elections, which are RCMP, which is our version of the FBI, have come out and said so. The Liberals wouldn't come to the table to talk about it. They actually closed Parliament for months because they didn't want to discuss about the foreign interference with China. So part of it is Trump saying, I can't have our neighbors up north being this tied to China.
Yeah.
Part of it's too is, hey, they want the minerals, they want the shipping route. They don't want China or Russia to be on this side of the Western Hemisphere.
That's what
they
Trump
want to
kept on
divide
saying.
it. They want to divide it. And I do have a video that breaks it down on that as well. There's a few videos I sent you. Some are a little long-winded, but
should we do Shane's vibes here first, this first one?
Yeah. Play that guy first.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, do you guys realize what NATO just said changes everything about the U.S. taking Greenland? This is not some willy-nilly thing here. This is actually happening. Something is going to happen from this. So after Trump said that they are going to take Greenland, the easy way or the hard way, he'd rather make a deal with them, but they will absolutely go and take Greenland. He says, we are getting Greenland no matter what. NATO has come back to say they will position Danish, French, and German troops around and on Greenland to defend it after Denmark allegedly just gave the green light to basically shoot first and ask questions later if American troops land on the island. Now, of course, the reason or justification for taking Greenland is that we don't want Russia or China to take it. And people are completely flabbergasted after watching what the U.S. just did to Maduro, jumping in there, swooping in, and now it controls Venezuela. They're thinking, is the same thing going to happen in Greenland? Now, here's the crazy part, though. What if I told you almost 100 years ago, there already was a plan for Canada, the United States, Mexico, Venezuela, Colombia, Cuba, and Greenland to be merged under one governing body? So I don't know if I'm buying the story that this is an organic conflict, but in fact, perhaps it's fulfilling this plan that was already decided upon long ago. But now we have this justification of it being to prevent unfortunate, not very tactical situation if Russia or China took the frickin' island. So type in North American Technate. Read about it, because this is absolutely shocking, and Elon Musk's grandfather has something to do with it. But this is the plan. And we already have Venezuela checked off the box. You heard all the joke about Canada becoming a 51st state. Canadians are stoked overall, 50-50, of course. Some think, yeah, that'll be great. Maybe we'll get less taxes, more freedoms. The other half is so anti-American that they could not even possibly fathom being, maybe not half, but a lot of people are like, oh, the States. So I get it, but it's shocking, man. And this gets us closer and closer to one governing body over the world, or this, which is screenshotted out of the documentary called Thrive, which released like 14 years ago, talking about different unions, the American Union, the African Union, the European Union, and the Pacific Union. And that they would be in chain, like we're talking world gov, nation states and regions, the people chained together. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This is shocking and follow.
There we go. Yeah. I don't think that it's like I think this is all part of the plan. I think they got to put up the front like, hey, we will attack you and NATO is going to attack you, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I think NATO wants to control the whole fucking world too. So they're like, hey, if you're going to combine all these countries into one, that helps us, you know?
Yeah. They're not going to let shit go to waste. Like they're going to be like, let's check all the boxes off. Let's take the oil. It's saving now with Venezuela. It's saving the US dollar. The US dollar is done. I have a great video on that that we can watch, but we'll have to fast forward to the middle of it if you're able to do that.
I can't on this. I can't. If I were on my phone, I could, but like
the first half is good as well. It's a little long, but it really breaks down the whole fact that, you know, remember we talked about the BRICS nations and how the US has forced countries for the last 50 years to buy everything with their dollar and their oil. And if you are forcing people to buy something with money that's not backed by any means, the BRICS nations are like, F you. So this is a good way to stifle the BRICS nations. It's a good way to steal reserves and minerals. It's a good way to protect. Listen, it does protect. If Trump does this, it does protect Greenland and Canada from China and Russia wanting to take that part of the world. So I feel like just check all the boxes off. It's like, hey, you know, let's renovate the home, add an extra bedroom. So we have an extra bedroom and the value of the home goes up when we sell afterwards. Check, right?
Yep. And here is how you know this whole thing is a psyop, because Greenland 2 Migration is in theaters right now, everybody. Get your tickets.
Get January your tickets. 9th.
It started
Yeah.
January 9th, and that's exactly when he started talking about this. Like Trump brought it up again.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
And as my thing says, shit's fucked up. Please stand by.
Yeah.
Because it is. It really is.
Dude,
It's
I have
just-
I have this cool post here that talks about the Technate, North American Technate, because it does go back to Joshua Haldeman, who was Elon Musk's grandfather, who was kicked.
Well, hold on a second. We have 33 people watching. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Greg.
Dang, dude. It was meant to be then.
Oh, someone just dropped out. But 33, someone's going to screen grab that and say we're part of the
It's hovering.
Illuminati.
Yeah, well, I think Spinks Albion and then Lubricus Medubitus, whatever the hell your name is. I think we're
Lucky
fine.
Lizgard.
Lucky Lizgard. So this is saying the North American Technate is a proposal aimed at transforming North America into a technocratic society. So this plan proposes leveraging Canada's, Greenland's abundant mineral deposits and hydroelectric
Yes.
power to complement
And
the
our oil.
industrial. You're right. And so like you're combining everything together, but like the main people running the society will not be politicians, no business people, money or income or inequality. These were all features of what the technocracy called the price system. That's all going bye-bye. And so what you'd have is you'd have the experts in their fields come in. So you'd have a techno utopia. You have like engineers, experts, and that's who's going to run society. But like, if you look at the experts, who are considered the experts, like Anthony Fauci was an expert.
He was.
And he was running the show, right?
I trust Anthony Fauci. I trust the science.
So it says in the Technate, everyone would be well housed and fed, kind of like a socialist society. All material needs would be taken care of. You'll own nothing and be happy, whether you had a job or not. And then this is Joshua Haldeman here. So he was the leader of the Technocracy Incorporated in Canada from 1936 to 1941. But eventually he was kicked out of the country. He was banned from that party. Like they dissolved that party and he was kicked out. And so you have to wonder, like, I don't know if this is the deep state plan. I think this is the reinvented deep state plan. I think this is the substitute. This is the facelift to what the New
we've
World
talked
Order.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about it for a while where people have caught on a little bit and they'll give us enough to appease one side, you know, with getting rid of taxes and probably doing a few other really good stuff. But to do that, you're going to be tied into all this. You're going to be tied into the digital ID. You're going to be tied into basically three superpowers running the world, which basically it is three superpowers anyways. It's whenever you talk about it.
Yeah, BlackRock.
Yeah, but you hear about
Vanguard.
it's always the U.S., Russia, and China. We don't hear Canada. Like it's already, those are the three superpowers already. You know, those are the three super nations already. So we're already there. We're already there. You
Well,
know
and
what I'm
like,
saying?
do nations really own anything, or is it just bankers?
No.
You know what I mean?
Just bankers, and we'll never know because the people that are pulling the strings are names that we'll never know and faces we'll never see, unfortunately.
Right.
You know, like the 13 families we hear about. I bet you there's something above that. Above the 13 families, there's probably above that.
Like the
and above that is
Italian
probably
family?
the aliens, you know, like it's just like, I'm just waiting for Jesus to come and save us, bro. Like, where are you at? I was in the grocery store with my friend, and as we were checking out, next to me was 3 magazines with Jesus next to me. And out loud, this was just today, I turned and I'm like, where are you at?
Yeah.
And my friend started laughing, and the lady behind the counter was like, what's this? And I'm like, I was getting pissed. Like, where are you at? Because we need you right now.
Well, dude, with
know,
all
we
these
need
like
you to know.
end times, you know, symbolism and all
Yeah.
that shit, right? So like Greenland, the movie Greenland is about
Yeah.
like an apocalypse.
Yep.
Like the end of the
I saw
world.
the first one, and I saw the first one obviously when I was awake, so I was kind of like, yeah, you know,
End of
typical. It's like the movie 2012,
Yeah.
you know, and Deep Impact and Armageddon. It's just, I don't think anything's ever going to happen because these psychopathic fucktards don't want to ruin the world. You know, they don't want to ruin even if there's land outside the Arctic Circle. If you mess up this part, and you're blowing shit up, I don't think they want to do it. It's just enough to keep us scared.
Well,
and if they do these small little false flags and then one big false flag, which we've all been waiting for, a big one. Like,
well, I don't think that they would ever ruin this world with nuclear power, because they have the ability to ruin it with weather. I mean, they'll fucking swamp your ass out of your state. They'll flood your cities. They'll flood, like, they can make whatever happen to your land with like a snap of a finger. I feel like, with HARP and all this like weather technology.
And I've gone down the rabbit hole of, do nuclear weapons actually exist as well, right? And yes, Jesus does come to Canada, Danielson. Jesus comes up and he has to go through Canada to get to your ass, brother. That's what I'm saying. Jesus does go to Canada. Listen, when I used to have the volcano, Jesus was always next to me, right? When I was smoking the volcano.
It's true. It's funny.
We had some good conversations.
I just saw a clip of, like those amateur wrestlers, like they have them in local cities and stuff, like amateur wrestling events. There was a guy dressed up like Jesus, and he was like controlling people, like strangling them by their neck, and they're like, oh, like his opponents from across the ring. He was just like using his psychic power, and then he would lift up and then slam, and then the guy would just jump up. And anyway, I find this whole thing funny, but then kind of just like predictable. Like Elon Musk is coming out saying, if the people of Greenland want to be a part of America, which I hope they do, they would be most welcome. Like, he's all about it because his grandpa was all about it. It's like, come on now, bro. And this was Charlie Kirk.
Anybody who's anyone and is a billionaire, when you take over another country and you get their resources and their minerals and oil and passageway, like I said, it's just more power for these psychopathic fucktards, and we just have to be diligent, see it. There's honestly, like, what are we going to do? Did we stop Venezuela from being the guy being, no, we can't do anything about it. We can just talk about it. We can say it's, entertainment purposes only, but there's not much we can do about it. Like you said, if they want to come and take Greenland, and Trump actually said, we can do it the easy way or the hard way.
Yeah, I know.
So
it's like, what are you talking about with that? Yeah, like, and that's the whole thing, dude.
Yeah, what I was saying earlier to my friend, I'm like, why not just come out and say the truth? Hey, we want Greenland because we're worried about China. Like, just say it. Just
he did say that.
It's like,
he did.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, he was on a plane or something. He's like, if we don't take Greenland, and we're going to take Greenland, if we don't take it, then China's going to take it, and Russia's going to take it, and I'm not going to let that happen. It's like, oh, okay. Well, like, why didn't they take it for the past 100 years? Like, why is it just now a situation?
Come and take Canada, because Canada died in 2025, as my thing says.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Rip.
it. When we voted the Liberals back in, we're already dead. Actually, Canada doesn't have an identity. You guys fought for your independence from the British. We didn't. And I think that's another reason why Trump wants to take over Greenland, is to get us out of that, which is not a bad thing. But again, it's checking off the box. If we can do several things and kind of fuck up people's lives down the road without them knowing.
Well, let me ask you this, and then I'm going to ask the chat this. You guys in the chat put in your responses too. Like, why now? Right? Because like, we could have Greenland, Greenland could have been taken over by Russia or China for over the past 50 years, 100 years, and it hasn't. But why is it now such a big importance? What do you think is going to happen? Are they preparing for World War III? What do you think?
Yeah, I think I actually sent you a video about how they're preparing for the war.
Okay, let's watch that while people put in their answers.
Yeah.
So war is coming. Sure. Is this one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll check this out. You guys in the chat, what do you think's going on?
This is the longer video, but it's good.
Okay.
Video is going to be in two parts. Part one is going to be of Redacted, where he's going to be explaining what all the red flags and all the warning signs on how the United States is getting ready to go to war. Now, in part two, which is the most important part of this video, I'm going to play a video by the AG Asian guy over on X. He's going to break down the actual root cause, the real reason why the United States is getting ready to go to war, why we're gearing up for war, why war is the only option for a failing nation like the United States. But it's going to blow your mind on all the intel that this guy breaks down, so you're not going to want to miss it.
I love the finger pointing. You guys are going to want to listen to
coming
this.
To the Arctic Circle, something we've been covering on this show for a few years. The play for Greenland, of course, all part of this larger plan. Russia, China, the U.S., all making plays for the most important trade route in the world right now. Of course, we've been telling you for years about this. The United States had one ice cutter. So Russia, China had already laid claim to a vast portion of all of this. Now the United States wants in on this. Trump is now calling for a $1.5 trillion military spending. He mentioned this last night, citing dangerous times.
Yeah, bumping that shit up.
His tweet about it. After long and difficult negotiations with senators, congressmen, secretaries, and other political representatives, I've determined that for the good of our country, especially in these very troubled and dangerous times, our military budget for the year 2027 should not be $1 trillion, but rather $1.5 trillion. Of course, on that news, Lockheed Martin's stock exploded. All of the military industrial complex stocks exploded. But then he also said, hey, all of you CEOs of these military industrial contracts companies like Boeing and all should not be getting $25 million a year. It needs to be capped at $5 million. That's it. $5 million. So we'll see if that holds. Glenn Greenwald posted this. He said, when the Pentagon fails its audit for the 7th consecutive year, the DoD simply can't account for the hundreds of billions of dollars flying around like Zelensky. The only rational solution is to increase its budget from $850 billion to $1 trillion, then to $1.5 trillion. He makes a good point. Tucker Carlson makes the point that war is coming, and maybe Trump knows something that we don't, but clearly something is happening.
The president announced that he is hiking the Pentagon budget from $1 trillion to $1.5 trillion. Just announced that. Why? Well, it's hard to know without asking him. He'll explain. But big picture, obviously, that's the kind of budget that a country that anticipates a global or regional war has for its military. There's no other reason to do that. That's not a peacekeeping budget. That's a war budget, a big war budget. So I think it's fair to expect, and all the signs suggest, that we're going to have a big war soon. A big war soon. I think everyone expects that to happen. Hope it doesn't happen, but obviously we're moving in that direction.
And I actually thought it was going to be Taiwan. You know what I mean? Like there's no... sorry, we'll just pause for a quick second just to give our thoughts on that. Like, I never thought the war would be about who takes the space above us for the shipping passage. I always thought it was going to be Taiwan. So notice Taiwan's out of the picture right now. We're not hearing anything about it.
I know. And that was a big whole Q. X-22 was always talking about Taiwan. Huge. Like, Taiwan's going to happen any day now. Like, never happened.
But after this guy, the Asian guy speaks, and I think the Asian guy is on point with the whole Venezuela stuff and the oil and the situation with the U.S. dollar.
Okay.
You know,
let's check this out.
Makes a lot of sense.
So how do you position yourself for that? Well, you look at a map and you ask the most basic questions. What areas do I want to control? Where are the trade routes? Who's got the resources?
Exactly. Well, one thing is for certain, war is coming. How it will all play out, we don't exactly know. We do know that a large-scale attack against Iran is likely to happen before the end of the year. Before the end of the month.
I think I just paused it real quick. I think there's going to be a cyber attack, and then they're going to blame it on Russia or blame it on China, and that's how a war gets started. I don't know, maybe
or Iran.
Yeah, or Iran. Perfect. Yeah,
it won't be the
Okay. Saturday morning, just like it did last time. Israelis will wake up at 3 a.m. to learn that their country has gone to war with Iran. That's one piece of it. What's going to happen in the Arctic Circle? That's another big piece of it. Europe, of course, is certainly gearing up for war. So all of this to say is something big is happening.
Next part by the AG Asian guy is the most important, and Trump knows this better than anybody. Once the United States loses the dollar global reserve standard, Trump said that's going to be worse than losing a world war because we have the ability to print all of our money, send it to these countries, and this country sends all their resources in exchange. Well, now that the dollar is collapsing, you can't build a military when nobody wants to buy your products. When nobody takes the dollar for trade, for silver, for gold, for oil, for whatever resource it is, then the United States becomes a third world country overnight. So the idea is that we need to go rob and loot and extort all of the resources from all of these countries before it's too late and we don't have the ability to do so. Check this out.
If you believe the narrative they are feeding you about what happened 7 days ago, if you believe that the United States military launched a raid on Venezuela just to capture one man, You're missing the single most important financial signal of your lifetime. Guys, open your eyes. What happened on January 3rd at 2 o'clock in the morning was not a political operation. It was not a diplomatic mission. It was a bank robbery. It was the definitive, undeniable confirmation that the United States dollar has officially reached the end of the line. We need to call this exactly what it is. This is the dollar death blow. When you strip away the flags and the speeches, the raid on Caracas was the desperate act of a bankrupt empire that can no longer afford to pay for the resources it needs to survive. Think about it. For the last 50 years, the United States has enjoyed a privilege that no other country in history has ever had. They could print pieces of green paper, paper that cost nothing to produce, and trade them for real things. They could print dollars and get Saudi oil. They could print dollars and get Chinese electronics. They could print dollars and get Mexican silver. It was the greatest magic trick in economic history, but the magic has run out. The world has stopped believing in the paper. The debt has grown so large, $38.5 trillion and counting, that the math is physically impossible. The interest payments alone are consuming the entire tax revenue of the country. And when an empire realizes that its credit card is maxed out, when they realize that nobody wants their IOUS anymore, they don't stop consuming, they stop trading, and they start taking. We have officially entered stage 4 of the empire collapse cycle. This is the stage known as desperate resource acquisition. It is the moment when the hegemon realizes that the only asset they have left is their military, and they decide to use it to seize the collateral. Do you really think they sent helicopters and special forces just to arrest Nicolas Maduro? Do you think they risked a global war just for a photo op? No. They went in for the prize. They went in for the $17.3 trillion worth of proven oil reserves sitting under the Venezuelan soil. They went in because the strategic petroleum reserve in the United States is empty. They went in because they need real, tangible wealth to backstop a financial system that is hollowed out by inflation and derivatives. The dollar is dying, so they are trying to back it with stolen oil. This is the signal you have been waiting for. It proves that the government knows exactly how bad the situation is. They know the printing press isn't enough anymore. If the dollar was strong, they would just buy the oil. They would just write a check. But they didn't write a check. They sent a gunship. That tells you everything you need to know about the purchasing power of the fiat currency in your pocket. It is worthless. And if they are willing to invade a sovereign nation to secure their energy supply, what do you think they will do when they realize they are running out of the other strategic asset they need to wage war? What do you think they will do when they realize they are out of silver? Because you can't run a Tomahawk missile without silver. You can't run a satellite without silver. You can't run the AI systems that guide those helicopters without silver. And unlike oil, they can't just pump more silver out of the ground in Venezuela. They have to find it. They have to buy it, or they have to confiscate it. So do not look at this raid as foreign policy, and look at it as the final warning bell. The rules of the game have changed. We are no longer in a global free market where prices are determined by supply and demand. We are in a global resource war where assets are determined by who has the biggest stick. And in this environment...
He said stick, right?
Stick, he did. Yes,
okay,
he did.
just checking.
Holding paper assets, holding stocks, bonds, or currency is suicide. Because paper is just a claim on a government that is currently resorting to piracy to pay its bills. You need to hold what they are chasing. You need to hold the real assets. And to understand where we go next, to understand why this specific military action guarantees $200 silver, you have to look at the history books. You have to realize that we have seen this movie before. Rome did it. The British did it. The Dutch did it. They all followed the exact same 7-stage pattern of decline. And if you map the United States onto that timeline, the conclusion is terrifying. We aren't just in debt, we are in the terminal phase. Let's break down the 7 stages of empire.
This video is going to be in 2 parts. Part 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was it. Dude, what do you think about this whole golden age though? Like that Trump promised?
I don't know, man, but I just dumped a bunch of money into stocks and he's just telling me, don't do it. Don't do it.
The S&P or whatever, the 500 was down. Numerous points.
And as soon as it went down, I dumped a bunch of money into the S&P 500. I bought Quanta, which is the energy company that I do the editing for, because they're projected to be a $40 billion company in 2 years from 33 maybe. But
hey, did you buy any Raytheon or Vanguard or what do we do? Did you do any defense contractor?
No, not yet, because I literally, when the guy was just talking about all this, I'm like putting some money into the military and the weapons stuff as well. But yeah, I don't know. I agree a lot with what he's saying. And I think this is sort of like why they needed, again, with COVID, the great things about COVID was they were able to have this massive transfer of wealth, bankrupt people, reset everything. So again, it's checking off that list. There could be 10 things on that list they need to do. And the number one thing on that list, I guarantee you, is figure out how to reset the financial system, because it's done.
Right.
The fiat system's done. 1971 till now, the dollar has gone down by 90+%, 97%. And yeah, and the BRICS nations are putting pressure on the U.S. And again, Venezuela was going to be part of the BRICS nations. Venezuela was like, we're going to trade using gold and silver and rupees and minerals. So this is very interesting to see how this takes place, because I've been saying this for years about the BRICS nations, and none of this is in the news. Because if it is in the news, like this guy was talking about right now, how the dollar has really collapsed, and now you have to plunder, steal, and take everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
dude. And I
Number one on
mean,
the list.
I think that's why the United States has built up the empire of their military, like, because they knew, like, hey,
that's all they have left.
Well, yeah,
That's
and
what
it's like
they-
if the shit hits the fan, we got our fucking military to take out whoever, and then we'll just do whatever we can do. You know?
Yeah.
Is
So if
that
they
the
want
right thing to
Greenland,
do? No.
Well, it's never been the right thing to do. And, you know, that's I feel sorry for the veterans that when they come back, they realize they've just been shanghaied, surprised, and realize that's why a lot of them come back with PTSD, not from just what they see and experience, but they realize the government's lied to them, right? And that's the reason why they don't look after the veterans. They don't look after the veterans because the veterans are the ones you can go to if you need to. If there's a civil war, if you need to protect yourself from the government, why have those people do well? You know, they're homeless, they're on drugs, they're depressed. They don't look after them because those are the people that can actually do something. So they don't help them.
Yeah, that's true. Those are the people who would know how to take out a government if they needed to, right?
That's it. And know the ins and outs of all this shit too. So it's, again, it's very disturbing because it's just history repeating itself. Every empire has to fall. And I think there's going to be, like I said, the three main superpowers that will be the Americanas, the Russia, and the China. And then there'll be a government above them.
Right.
Which is controlling us now.
Mhm.
They're just going to tidy it up a little bit more. You know?
Consolidate, make it nicer to look at, you know, make it easier to exchange currencies and stuff. Dude, this reminds me of Aaron Russo, the producer who died after he gave that interview with Alex Jones, kind of exposing this whole plan by the Rothschilds, who were saying that,
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
right, like the ultimate goal is to put a chip in everybody. And you hear like RFK Jr. talking about wearables. He wants everybody to have a wearable by the end of like blah, 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 2029. And so it's like the chip is going to be your RFID. It's basically just the mark of the beast system where you have all of your money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's your wearable, guys. Your
There it
wearable's
is.
right here.
Yeah, your phone.
You know, phone. We have the Apple Watch. You know, you don't own anything. Think about it. Who here has bought a DVD recently? The reason why DVDs went out of business, it's not because of the convenience of streaming. When you have DVD, you own it.
Yeah.
It's possession.
Yep.
Now it's not possession. Now it's permission. You have to have permission to watch all your streaming. They can just raise the price. They can get rid of, all of a sudden I see a video we wanted to watch the other day that was free for the last few months. I had to rent it for $4.99. So simple things like that. You're no longer a customer. You're now a consumer. Do your research on the difference of those two.
Same thing with music. If you have a bunch of music on your iPhone, even if you have it downloaded to your device, if you don't have internet in certain spots, that will not play. Period.
And they can raise the price. If iTunes raises the price, or Spotify, you don't have access to it. So if you have records, 8 tracks, cassettes, it's the same with the DVD and Blu-ray situation. You go from having possession to permission. Now you have to have the permission to see it, you know, and it's scary because we look at it as sorry, cat's walking past me, as convenience, because it is convenience. There's times I'll sit there and I don't even watch a movie. I can't figure out what to watch because it's just there, versus where I had to flip through my videos and put the DVD in. But yeah, a lot of it is under the assumption, the illusion that it's actually convenience. It's not. It's just taking away what you can own.
Dude, I get it. That's why pirating, it was such a big deal. Like Napster pirating music, movies, all this stuff. Because it's like, I physically have that on a hard drive now. I can watch it, listen to it, do whatever the fuck I want with it. Whenever, right? So anyway, I think this was a good episode, dude. I think we had a lot to talk about. I mean, the world is insane right now. Well, hey there, Kitty.
He's eating my microphone. He goes, "You've had too much time. It's time for some." Yes.
Yeah, he's telling you when the show's over, dude. That's hilarious.
No, great show. Again, guys, keep your head up. You know, faith over fear. You know, you got to have faith in something, and don't put it in the hands of politicians, movie stars, actors. Put it in the faith of your family, friends, and more importantly, in the faith of us, because we come here and tell you the truth straight up.
There we go. Yeah, so everybody out there, thanks for watching. Hit the like button if you like this stuff. Go over to Apple, go over to Spotify, leave a thumbs up over there and a rating and a review. It'll help the show out, all right? So Lucky Lizgard, you stay safe up there in Canada with Rio. And me, Spinks Albion, I'll be staying steamy. See y'all later.
Stay steamy. Ciao, ciao.